Hey actors, it is Wendy Elaine Wright, the Hollywood talent manager here. So I'm going to talk to you for about 20 minutes today about how to take great headshots and what you should do to make sure that you are getting competitive headshots. And this conversation is really going to help you out if you're getting ready to go shoot some headshots. You might have already shot headshots and you aren't getting anywhere with them. So I'm going to tell you a lot about headshots in the next 20 minutes. So stick around for that. I'm going to do a little business here. Tomorrow, I have a free 3-hour class. I do it the first Saturday of every month. It's called the ABCs of Show Business. And if you're new to this business, I highly, highly recommend you take this 3 hours with me because you're going to learn more in 3 hours with me than you've probably learned in years, right? And I pack it full of information. You can take a lot of notes. You can ask me questions. You'll get the replay. But I tell you, it's really, really important to learn what you don't know because there's so much you don't know. And there's things you don't even know you don't know, So I highly recommend if you want to take my 3-hour free class tomorrow morning, it's 11 a.m. Pacific, 11 to 2, and Eastern, it's 2 to 3. And if you're thinking of signing up for the next Faceless YouTube channel class, that starts next Wednesday. The November 6th, Wednesday, November 6th, we're going to do it for 4 Wednesdays. And if you've been thinking about wanting to create a YouTube channel, you just don't know how to start. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to make money doing that. Remember, I've had a YouTube channel for many, many years, and I've been making money on that for years. And YouTube pays me directly straight into my bank account. And so monetizing Facebook is doable. People do it every day. If you had asked me 10 years ago if I was going to have a YouTube channel and make money off of it, I would have never thought of it in a million years. But I've been doing it now for a long time, and I really love helping new people get started in the world of YouTube because YouTube is phenomenal. There is no limit to the amount of money you can make in YouTube, but you got to get started, right? You got to get started. So if you don't have a channel and you don't have videos up there and you're not getting a check from AdSense and from YouTube and you're not making money, but you want to be, then sign up for the class on Wednesday. I'll put a link in this description so you can sign up for the class, and I can't wait to work with you. It's really a fun class. I love teaching it, and I'll see you there. Now, let's talk about headshots. Headshots, headshots, headshots. The purpose of a headshot is to show your personality. It's to show your real authentic self. It's not to pose in costumes. It's not to pose in general. It's to show people who you really are. It's the same thing you need when you're going to be an actor, really, to show people who you really are, your authentic self. So I'll use me for an example. And first I'll say, we've looked at a lot of those headshots that came in. Some of them are great and some of them are just way off the mark because you just don't know what good headshots are. So that's why I'm here to tell you. So let's take my personality because I can explain that real easily, okay? There's probably 4 sections to my personality, 4 sections. Okay, the first one is I'm like this little girl. I'm like this playful little girl who's never grown up, and I'm just fun and playful, and I'm childlike. So that's one side of my personality. Okay, let's break this thing down into cake, 4 slices. So one of the slices is I'm like this little girl that never grew up. Okay, then I'm this very generous, loving, supportive, kind, helpful, accessible, warm, loving person. And that is another big part of my personality. Then I have another side of my personality, which is I want to ram the facts down your throat to make sure that you are taking strong action to build your career, to live your life, to get the most out of this life while you have it. And I don't want to hear any excuses. I am tough about it because I care. So you have that side of me. And then you have this 4th slice where if my feelings or if I get offended, and I have been patient probably long enough, but when I cross over that line and I am no longer patient, you do not want to fuck with me because I've got a side to me that is vicious. And it doesn't come out often, but when it does, you really need to turn around and go in the opposite direction because it can be scary. Okay. Now, those are the 4 parts of my personality. The last one, I try never to go there unless I'm working, in acting or something and I need it. But typically, you all have different aspects of your personality. You should know what they are. Okay. know what they are and accept them all and appreciate and value all of you. So now if I know those 4 parts of my personality, do I have photos that show them, that show those essences? Do I have a photo that shows that childlike energy that I have? Do I have one that shows that thoughtful, caring, generous, supportive, loving, nurturing mama bear, mama nurturing side? Do I have photos that are like, look, here's the line and this is what you need to do. I'm the teacher, I'm the authority, I am the principal, I am the person in charge of making sure shit gets done. Okay? And then do I have photos where it's like, woo, watch out, there's a rage that might come over you if you don't step the fuck back. Okay, so do I have those 4 essences of my personality captured in the footage, in the video that I'm creating for my portfolio, or in the headshots that I'm creating? Because those are the essences that I have, and those are likely the parts of me that I will bring to the audition room, that I will bring to the scenes I work on, that I will bring to any character I play, because I'm bringing me to the work. I'm bringing me, right? All right, so if you sit down and you figure out what are the do 4 slices if you need to. I did 4. Maybe there's more to my personality, but I don't need to get into 85 of them. Just like, these 4 main characteristics of me. Now, what is a role? What is a type? Type, I always like to say type is just the job. Okay, type is the job. It's a cop, lawyer, teacher, mom, dad, bookkeeper, librarian, waitress, bartender, FBI, the type of job you have. And then brand is the essence you have, the way you play it, the way you play that character. So for example, teacher is a type. And if I was to give the role of a teacher to 2 distinctly different actors, like Woody Allen and Matt McConaughey. Woody Allen playing a teacher, yeah, doable. What kind of teacher would he play? Well, his brand is a neurotic New Yorker. He speaks really fast. He's a Jewish guy. He's like really uptight all the time. He's a nervous wreck. That's his brand. He's still playing a teacher, but he's playing it his way, with his energy, his brand. Matt McConaughey, he has the role of a teacher, but it's a different teacher, isn't it? He's not a nervous wreck. He's calm. He's in control. He's sexy as hell. He is strong and centered and in control and charismatic. And that's his brand. So the brand is your essence. It's the way you play things. And type is the job. Okay? So now, if I take myself, because that's all I can really do right in this video, is just take myself for example. I can play certain types that are very believable right off the bat. Okay? I'm going to play a teacher. That's a no-brainer. That's what I do for a living. I teach all day long, right? Teacher, nurse, social worker, cop, and mom. Let's just go with those 5 types, okay? Teacher, nurse, social worker, cop, mom. Those 5 types. Now, write them down. I write them down. Teacher, nurse, social worker, write your 5 down. And if you don't know, you need to figure it out. Teacher, nurse, social worker, cop, mom. Now, I'm not a mom in real life. I don't have any kids. I've never had any kids, but I can play one on TV. So, TV, nurse, social worker, cop, mom. Now, this is where your personality comes in. Like I said, I've got this childlike quality to me that never goes away. It's just my way I am. And you don't see it often enough because I'm really in my authoritative mode here most of the time, right? But I've got this childlike personality that my friends see, my husband's boyfriend's lovers see, but you don't really see that too often. But I have it. Then I've got this very, like I said, very empathetic, loving, generous, supportive, caring, nurturing side of which you see sometimes. Then I've got this very firm, stern, finding some words here, firm, stern, authoritative, my way or the highway. You're going to do it this way because it's right. And thank God I know what I'm talking about and not steering you off a cliff. And I'm also a Virgo. So if anyone understands astrological signs, you probably already knew that. I'm also type A personality. Probably already knew that. So I like things a certain way. And because of that, I'm very good at my job, especially when I'm talking actors through a process that I understand very, very well. I've had decades experience doing it, and I know how to explain it, and I know what actors need to do to build their careers and get started and to take it to the next level. And I don't dilute that information with a bunch of shit. I'm like, here's what it is. Let's do it step by step by step by step. That's it. Don't give me excuses. That's all I want. Right? So you see that side of me here quite often because that's the side that's the side I'm in when I'm teaching, right? Then you have this side of me, which is, if you step on my tail, do not be surprised if I swipe you across the throat with my nails. Because after all, I'm only human. And if you step on my tail hard enough, I'm going to swing. Okay. So I try not to bring that side of my personality out into the world too often because that's like really not the majority of me. I'm mostly just a loving person who wants to help everybody. I think you guys know that. Now, if those are the qualities that I am, then I'm probably going to play the nurse that way. I might play, very authoritative and firm, which means I'm probably the head nurse. Might be an administrator. But I'm definitely not going to be the weak nurse who takes direction from everybody because that's not my personality. Okay? I'm not going to play those roles, and I'm not going to be cast in those roles because I'm too strong. My essence is too strong. My personality is too strong, and I'm too aggressive to be subordinate. So then the same with a social worker. Now, that part of me will bring out the nurturing, that caregiving, that nurturing, helpful, want to help people, want to encourage you to do well. But I'm also going to have that firm, aggressive, authoritative personality in my clips and in my headshots. You're probably not going to see the childlike version of the social worker. You're probably not going to see the childlike version of the nurse because these are professional jobs. So you're not going to see that side of me unless I'm home and taking my bra off, putting on my socks, my jammies, and playing with my cat, right? And as a cop, you're surely not going to see it. So you might see the concerned cop that wants to help everybody, but you're most likely going to see the authoritative side of my personality. And if you're fuck with me, you might see the cop that goes overboard and maybe locks the perp in the trunk without oxygen for a good few minutes. Okay, so, and then as a mom, well, you might see that childlike personality, especially if you put me in a room full of kids, because then the little girl in me comes out, and So now you see how you bring personality into your acting work, and you also do that in your headshots. So now I would sit down and start writing out some very specific thoughts, and so you need to do that, right? How do you get different looks? Your headshots should show very different parts of your personality, like completely different parts of your personality. That childlike, playful, girl-like quality that I have should be very different than the quality when I'm saying you need to fucking do this. Okay? Those are two different sides of my personality. In order to have that come out in front of the camera, I have to be thinking those thoughts. I have to think those thoughts. I have to use my imagination. Or you can just simply write them down on a piece of paper or index cards, right? So let's say I'm going to do my my social worker clip. And I'm going to do a headshot where I'm being a social worker. Okay, now the social worker's job is to interview people, listen to their stories, put them on a program that's going to help them kick drugs or find a job or straighten up because they lost their kids. They've lost their kids. The court has taken them out. The police have taken them out. And the parents cannot get the kids back unless they jump through these hoops and do these things. So the social worker's job is to lead her people through the steps it takes to get their kids back. Okay. And it's not a joking matter, because if these parents don't get off drugs or stop dating that gangbanger or stop leaving their children alone for hours and hours on end, they can never see those kids again. So it's life or death for those kids. It's life or death for their parents. It's a serious situation. Now, I can still be kind. I can still be nurturing. But I also am going to kick her ass if she doesn't do what we need her to do. And I'm going to take her kids. Okay? So Knowing that, I can use a piece of paper and write down things, say things, and I can say nurturing things. You know what? I know you can get a hold of this situation. I know you can. I know you can. So here's the number of the therapist we want you to see. And I want you to spend every Friday with her, da 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 da. And this woman is going to make a huge difference in your life. And I know you can do this. I know you can. And I know you can get your kids back, okay? I will be here to help you and work through this with you. So that's the nurturing side of me, right? And if I'm writing those kind of sentences down on a piece of paper and I'm in front of my headshot session, I know that's the kind of energy that I want to portray. I'm not making my face look like this. I feel this way. So then the pictures are just being taken, snip, snip, nap, 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 nap. Right? And I'm in that nurturing, supportive, helpful, I know you can do it energy. And the picture's picking it up. Now I go to my other thoughts that I've written down, and I just found out that you left your kid home alone again. And this time when you got home, you were stumbling drunk. You fell into the wall. You cracked your head open in front of your children. Your 2-year-old is still on the floor in the same diaper from 3 days, and your kids are gone. We're done with this. We're done with this. Now see this face and this energy? It's because I'm using my imagination and I'm feeling the things I'm talking about because I'm thinking about them and getting myself all riled up, right? And the camera is taking those pictures. I'm not trying to be riled up by posing. Here, I'm riled up. I'm feeling riled up. I'm feeling riled up because I'm thinking thoughts that get me riled up, right? And if I think thoughts that make me peaceful, that will change my energy. So now I can think about being on a beach. Ooh. Oh, I can think about being adventurous, going through the rivers of Thailand and being so amazed by all the Buddhist statues, and the people are so kind and friendly. And this energy that's coming over me is because I love being in Thailand. So if they're snapping, they just got a whole range of emotions. That's what you want in your headshot session. You do not want to pose. You want to have real thoughts that bring out the real personality that you have. So sit down and figure out, what are those personalities, those essences of your personality. Then figure out, okay, what roles am I most likely going to play? And they really are 99% of the time going to be in line with who you really are. Does that mean always? No. One of the actors here and the moderators here, Michael Vincent Barry, he plays some really shitty people on television. Really bad guys. Okay? He's not a bad guy in real life. He's like the kindest, gentlest, biggest teddy bear of life. But somewhere in him, he can get to that side of himself, right? And when he takes his headshots, you can see it. He's not pretending to be a bad guy. He's going there mentally, and he's fucking with somebody mentally because it comes out in the pictures. You can see it because he went there in his mind, okay? So I want you to really go into your headshot session strategically. Don't just go in there and pose. We can always see when you're just posing. I promise you, if you're just posing, you don't have real thoughts in your eyes. Casting directors call those photos dead eyes. Dead eyes, because you're just going, and everyone has those two faces, you know, on my serious face, but I'm not thinking anything. I'm actually not thinking anything at all. Or my smiling one, and I'm not thinking anything. When I think of something that makes me happy, my eyes light up from the inside because my heart is alive. My heart is lit up. Just thought of something that made my heart light up. And when your heart lights up, your eyes light up from the inside. From the inside. And that's what you need to be doing. You need to be having thoughts and feelings from the inside. And the camera people are just there to light it well and to snap the shutter. Light it well and snap the shutter. But you are there to have feelings and emotions. That's what headshots are. Okay? So, that being said, I want you to do some practice sessions. I don't want you to just run off to a photographer, pay $500 and waste your money, and you just pose with your 2 shots, right? And most amateurs who are just shooting headshots for the first time, listen, it's not expected that you would know this. You're just coming into a business where there's a whole lot going on here that you just don't know yet. But we know it because we've been in it for years and years and years and years. And you listen, your headshots are not the first we've seen, okay? We've seen hundreds of thousands of actors' headshots. And so has casting. So when casting directors go through the 3,000 headshots that come in, and they pick the people they want for an audition, there's a soul level, a gut level, an instinct level that's part of what you see when you look at people. An instinct, a feeling, an emotional connection, a reaction, an energy, a vibe. And you go with that one and that one and that one. But if we dissect it and figure out why did they go with that one and that one and that one and that one, because in those photos that person was having real emotions, having real feelings, and real energy. And people are attracted to other people's energy. And they just scroll past the ones where people aren't doing that, right? So if we reverse engineer this and say, okay, we need to have an end product where you've got feelings, thoughts, and emotions that have energy that draws people in, then we have to reverse some of the how do we get those? Well, we go back to the beginning. If we're in the photo session, do we have that piece of paper in our hand with the different thoughts that trigger certain thoughts? So it's the same stuff you'll do in your acting work, okay? If I start thinking about my dad not being here, I'm already triggered. I'm already emotionally upset. So that's how quick that can. My dad is 88, okay? So if I live longer, I'll get a call someday that my dad's not here anymore, okay? So all I do is think about that and I'm emotional. And I could be, if I'm acting, I'm putting those feelings and thoughts into the script that I have. You're going to assume that the emotions I'm having are about whatever I'm talking about in the script, but I could be thinking about my dad. That could be my trigger for me, right? And it usually is. Now, if I think about a time where I can remember a really beautiful time with my husband. And I loved it. It was beautiful. It was like one of the most perfect moments of life. So, and it's just by thinking of something. So you need to know what your emotional triggers are, because then you can go from one to the other, just like that. Think about my dad, get myself upset. Think about the emotional trigger, get myself happy. Do you know what your emotional triggers are as an actor? Okay. If it's, I know Amy Lennon calls it, I think, an emotional journal. I just call it emotional triggers. Okay. And I sit down and I know exactly what pisses me off. It used to really piss me off when people went on Reddit and said nasty shit about me. I used to fucking lose my shit, especially when they say stupid things. I hate stupidity. The one time I read something like Wendy asks all of her students to give her presents for her kids. And I was like, you fucking morons. I don't even have any kids. Where are you coming up with this stuff? And I remember when I first started getting the hate years ago, I didn't know how to handle that. I never had people hate me like that online. I used to be like, show me where they are. Give me their address. I'll go over there and knock the shit out of them. But over time, you know, I don't even care. I don't even read them anymore because I don't care. I don't care. But you have to know what your triggers are. Now, let's say I want to use a trigger. I could just go there and think about some shitty thing someone said about me, and I can remember getting angry about it. It's like, do you not know how many hours of my time I give to actors for free, helping them out here for 7 years? And you're going to say something negative about me? Fuck yeah. Right? So I can find something that pisses me off, and I can use it in my emotional triggers for acting work or headshots. What makes me feel truly compassionate? Whenever I see someone do something beautiful for someone else, and there are so many beautiful people in this world doing beautiful things for other people. When I see people making sacrifices of themselves for others, that brings me to that spiritual place of mine that is just so deeply proud, just in love with people, because I know they have that quality, and I love that quality in people. Right? So this is a totally different energy than you just saw a minute ago, right? This energy, it gets grounded suddenly. It comes from a very authentic, genuine, deep place. That's different than the anger. That's different than the sadness with the dad. It's because of what I'm thinking. Your thoughts change your emotions, change your energy, your thoughts. So if you can control your thoughts, you can control your whole life, but that's a totally other subject. I'm talking about how to use your thoughts to get headshots. You can also change your thoughts to have the right mindset for dealing with anything in life, okay? But that's a different class. This is about headshots. So what I don't want to see, and what no agent and manager wants to see, is the same expression without any thoughts in 4 different outfits. Because basically it's like, and you change the shirt, change to the suit, now you got on the sweater, now you got the leather jacket, but you just, there's nothing there. Nothing there. You have dead eyes, no feelings, no emotions, no life. You're like, yeah, but I dressed, it looks pretty. Yeah, maybe it looks pretty, but you're not feeling anything. So if you look at all the photos that were submitted yesterday, 300 photos or something like that, we can just look right away. If it's professionally shot, we can tell if you shot with a professional photographer, yes or no, because professional photographers know how to light you in a way that is professional. So when we look at the photo, we can see the quality of the lighting. Great photographers have great lighting, and they know how to do it. We can also tell if they're amateurs because they have you doing stupid things like, well, it's stupid. I say stupid. I probably say that too much, but your hands in the thing, or whatever, or they're framed from above, or they're shooting from below, and they just don't know what they're doing, okay? Now, you also need to dress to suggest the character. So let's say I'm going to play a hospital administrator, and I have a little business suit on, right? And I am going to play serious, authoritative, and go do your job, okay? Go do your job. We're not paying you to sit around here. Go do your job. People's lives are at stake, okay? I have my suit on, and then I can also change my energy to be the supportive. Come on in. I want to talk to you about something. So depending on what thoughts I have is going to change what energy I have in that suit. So here's what I want you to do. Put the suit on. Go through those 4 different personalities of yours, those 4 different elements, the playfulness, the thoughtfulness, the aggressive side, the angry side, whatever yours are. Okay. Some of you are sarcastic. Some of you are suspicious. Some of you use these kind of words, adjectives, suspicious, angry, desirous, whatever you want for your headshots. Write those thoughts, use those emotions. You're in that outfit, switch emotions, switch emotions, switch emotions. Now take your outfit off, put the next outfit on, and go through the emotions again. You're thoughtful, sweet, kind, and loving. You're aggressive. You're hateful. You're angry, sarcastic, adventurous, or loving, whatever. Go through all those different emotions again, different thoughts. Take that outfit off, put your next outfit on, and go through all those thoughts again and those feelings. That's the way you take headshots. Because when you get those pictures back, when you look at the suits, the picture in the suit, you're going to see so many different so many different attitudes and expressions, and wow, you're going to have a hard time choosing because they're all so different from each other. And that's what you want. That's what you want. They're all like, oh my God, look at all these different stories that the headshots are telling. It's amazing, right? Because you had feelings, real genuine emotions and feelings. That's what you need. If we look at the headshot session and we see the same face over and over and over and over, and the only thing that's changing is a little tiny bit of your smiles like this, then it's like this, then it's like this, it's like this, then your head's like this, that's it. Nothing's really changing. Your emotions are not changing. So that's really hard. It's like you've got 500 photos and your face is almost in the same expression. That's bad headshot session. And I hope that this conversation makes it real clear to you the difference between a great headshot session and a bad one. Now, if you've been in this business a while, I've been in it 30 years, okay? How long have you been in it? If you've been in it a while and you're a working actor, you've probably taken so many headshot sessions, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every couple of years you've got a new headshot session, You've learned the hard way, and you've spent money not getting great headshots. Okay, so I'm here to try to help you not make those mistakes, which I do with every day of my life, is try to help you not make the mistakes I know you're going to make, and just to help you so you don't do that. What I don't want you to do is try to get headshots for free with people who don't know how to shoot headshots. How much you delay your own success is on you. If you want to shoot with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, and then you put those headshots up on your profiles and you don't get any auditions, you're just wasting time. And how much time you want to waste? 6 months, 5 months, 8 months on that, 1 year on wrong headshots? Your life, I don't want you to waste it. but it's your life, you know. I also say shop around for headshot sessions. Maybe you save a little more money. Go do Uber another weekend or two to make a little more to shoot with a professional. Maybe it costs you $400 or $500 instead of $300. Okay, then save another $200, but you need great headshots. And here's why. When casting puts out a breakdown and 3,000 photos come in, they make their decision from the photo first. From the photo first. That's how critical it is. That's why they got to be great. They got to be great right off the bat. It's the first thing casting sees. It's the first thing an agent or manager is going to look at when they decide if they want to meet with you. It's the first thing they see. So why, if this is like one of the most important tools you have, why wouldn't you just save a little bit longer and shoot with somebody great? It just makes no sense if you're spending $400 a month on acting classes for 5 years that you would skimp on the headshot, because that's the part that's taking you to the next level where you can actually work and make money, right? So after they will look at the headshot, then they go to your acting clips. So these two tools are critical, yet this is where most actors make all the mistakes. And however long you stay stuck in these two areas is how long you're derailing your own career. And sometimes it's because you just don't know. Like maybe I just said some things today, you're like, oh my God, I never knew that. Well, now you do. Now you do. And I didn't expect you to know that, because where would you have learned that from? Right? You're not born with that knowledge. And most agents and managers don't have time to teach you that, and you don't learn that in acting classes. So what I'm teaching you comes from the perspective of being a manager for a very long time. And part of my job as a manager is to take my client to the headshot session with them, help them pick out their looks, go with them and make sure we're getting those different emotions and those different expressions, whether we have to play music. You might have a playlist that gets you in all those different moods. You might use thoughts and feelings and words on cards. You might bring a friend. You know, you might have a photographer that plays games with you and improv games, but their job is not to tell you to pose. Their job is to let you live and be alive in front of the camera so they can just take shots of you doing it. So what I like actors to do is practice at home before they spend any money. Practice the mock-up. So if I was mocking it up, I'd go home. First of all, if there's any kind of shots that I like, that I've seen other people take, I'd create a folder on my desktop and drag those photos in there. Maybe that's the kind of essence I'm looking for, right? And I figured out my types of my energy, my personality, and I figure how that woman would dress if she was a mom, how she would dress if she was a social worker, how she would dress if she was a businesswoman, how she would dress if she was works at the DMV, the government worker, just the different, if she's an upscale woman, the different ways people dress. And then I figure out what my outfits are going to be. And they also should be in colors that are flattering to you. So I have a gold tone to my skin, so a lot of fall colors look really great on me. And blues and turquoise, like those kind of sea blue colors look fabulous on me. So you want colors that look good with your skin, with your palette, that fit you, but you also want clothes that fit those roles. Clothes that fit the roles, okay? And then you want thoughts that fit the roles. So this is the kind of session where you go in there very specific. You do not wing it, or you're going to spend $500 again in a few months when those pictures don't work. Or a year when those pictures don't work. And people say to me, how do you know it's a good headshot? A great headshot gets you auditions. That's that. A great headshot gets you auditions. So you might not even like the photo. You might be able to like that one of me, but it's getting you auditions, so it's great. That's right. It's great. It's somehow it's catching people's emotional reaction to you, and they're giving you auditions just because they like the headshot. So the headshot's turning heads. So it's a great headshot. If you do a photo session and you pull 5 headshots out and you put them up and none of them are getting you auditions, try other ones from your session. If none of those are getting you auditions, then you did not do what we're talking about today. You did not use emotions. You did not use expressions. You did not go through different feelings. You just posed. And if you just posed, you're probably not going to get many auditions because your headshots will be dead. I hope this is helpful. I hope that this helped you understand what headshots are for. Each headshot should tell a different story. So when we ask you guys to pose 2 contrasting headshots in this exercise, the last day of every month, we want you to post 2 headshots that are very different from each other. One, you look like an ex-con, the other, you look like a cop. When you're talking about cops, there are different statuses in cops, okay? The beat cop has a different energy than the FBI agent. The FBI agent has a presence and an authority and a much different energy than the cop, than the beat cop, okay? Than the undercover cop. That's a very different energy than the CIA. So there's a certain level of authority and status in these different characters. So if you're going to play FBI, that is a different thought process and different energy. You carry yourself differently than if you play a cop on the street who's maybe undercover doing like narcotics. You need to know what the stature is of your characters. You also need to know what your own personal energy is, okay? And I also want to encourage you guys, while I have you, please accept yourself for who you are and what you have. There's nothing about you that's ever going to be perfect, right? Nothing about you is ever going to be perfect. You're going to be flawed for the rest of your life. You probably, sometimes you have flaws and you just think everyone can see them and you're really the only one seeing them. You know, I see people look at their headshots and they're like, oh, I don't know, this isn't a good one. Why? Well, we see how my nose right there on the right is like, no, nobody's looking at that. You're micro fixed on one flaw about you that you are fixating on so much you think you're not good enough. That's just, you got to like learn to accept yourself, flaws and all. I have a scar here. Where is it? When I was a kid, I bought a bike for $15 at a yard sale on Lane Street. I was 12 years old, I remember. And the brake fell off. It was a 10-speed. The brake fell off when I clutched it and fell into the spokes. It jammed the bike, stopped it suddenly. I went over the handlebars and I scraped my face across the street, all the way across the street, and hit my head on the curb. When I got up, blood, my whole side of my face was torn off. I had my white Andy Gibbs shirt on. So that was in the 70s. And it was 78. And blood was everywhere. I had a hole in my nose, through my lip, a hole. You put your finger through. And my whole face was torn off. Anyway, needless to say, I had to go to the emergency room and they had to stitch my face up and I couldn't touch it forever. And I have a scar there. A scar I never paid attention to. I never paid attention to it. I don't even think about it. So it doesn't affect how I think about myself or if I think I'm beautiful or if I love myself. I'm not affected by it. I don't even think about it. And I never did. Now, someone else might have had that same experience and they might have thought, oh my God, that scar, it makes me look this, it makes me look that. And they hyper focus on it and to the point where they don't like themselves because of it. And now that interferes with how they get along with people and how they present themselves in the world. And they're so worried everyone's going to see it. I'm grateful that I never went there with that scar. I never went there. I don't even think about it. So it doesn't affect I don't even see it when I look at myself in the mirror. If you have a magnifying glass on one of your flaws, put it down. Yeah, but this eyebrow here, my nose here, my ears here, and then see this mark on my neck. You see my lip, it's too big. Internet. Put the magnifying glass down. Also, when I smile, this lip is bigger than the other. This lip is bigger than this one. And when that happened to me, I played flute and clarinet. And since then, I can't play those instruments because you have to, and I can't purse my lips. I can't whistle. Because I have a huge scar tissue in my mouth. A huge scar tissue in here. Huge. I can feel it. Okay? So I have a scar here, huge scar tissue here, and I smile. My smile's crooked. This lip is thicker than this one. Just how it is. I never focused on any of that. So I'm telling you, what you think about yourself is a choice. Some of you don't like yourself because of whatever flaw you have hyper-focused on. And you're allowing that to control you and your life and your confidence. And I'm telling you, put that microscope magnifying glass down and stop focusing on the thing you think is wrong with you. Stop. And focus on all the other stuff that makes you great and wonderful and amazing. If you do that, you're going to be so much more confident in your auditions and your photo sessions, when you meet people, in your meetings with casting directors and agents and managers, on dates, whatever, making new friends, networking at events. But if you're hyper-focused on your nose or your eyes, or one smaller than the other, and this, and I'm too tall, too short, too fat, too white, too black, too this, my hair's too straight, too curly, you are just getting in the way of your own life and in the way of accepting yourself. You know, I say this because I get people who look at their headshot. Oh, I don't like those. Why? Well, my hair's too curly. Huh? Yeah, you see my hair, it stands up over here. And I don't like that because my chin's too long and my cheeks are too big. And oh my God, what the fuck? Everybody, you're going to be different. You're going to be unique. You're going to be you. You better get over it. You're the only you you've got. So I highly recommend you love it. Learn to love it, baby, because that's all you're going to ever be. It's what you got to work with, right? So love your flaws. Some people, I have a gap in my tooth. Okay. You know, accept it. If you need to close the gap, go to the dentist. If you're not going to do that, shut the fuck up and enjoy it. You have a gap. Okay? Either love it or fix it. But stop living and complaining about stuff. I had this girl that I represented once, and she needed a nose job, she said. I'm like, what do you need a nose job for? Well, my nose, 22 years old, she needed a nose job. She didn't like her nose. Oh my God. And there was no getting her away from that. She spent $7,000 to fix her nose, make it a little bit different. Okay, there. She understood. She underwent the process of a nose job, and she was staying at my house for like months, and she was one of my clients, and she was coming from out of town. She stayed at my house for months. Her face wrapped up, and she couldn't move, so she could get her nose fixed at 22. And then what's going to be next? Her ear? Oh, see how, no, my eye. You see how this is slightly different over here, but you see how big difference that, no. So please just look at yourself and think, good enough. Most likely, those things that make you unique are what's going to make you have a career. Because when I see people that all look kind of like the same genre of person, brown-haired girl, straight poker hair, looks kind of like everybody else, it's very hard to stand out when you look like everybody else. So some of those things you think are flaws, see, my lip went a little higher, that makes you different. It makes you stand out. And if you stand out, that's what makes you unique. And this business is looking for people who are unique, not that look like everybody else. Okay. So I really hope that this conversation encourages you to accept yourself as you are. Like really deeply accept yourself as you are. Flaws and all, kids. Flaws and all. And go into your headshot session with a plan. Write down what you're going to do. Take sample shots at home in those outfits with a friend, trying different emotions, trying different feelings, trying different energy. And then when you go when you go shoot your headshots, when you're calling to get a photographer, the photographer is not in charge of your session, okay? They are there to light you professionally. That's what they're trained to do. And if they're good, they're there to make you feel comfortable and let you feel like enough to be yourself. But they shouldn't be posing you head up to the right, a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, now put your head down, down, down. Okay, now turn your eye a little more, a little eye. They shouldn't be doing that. It's interfering with you living. You should show your headshot photographer, look, this is what I'm going, this is what I want to get. Here's my board. These are the headshots I'm looking for. This is the kind of essence I want. This is the energy. This is what I'm going to wear. You don't go to the headshot session and they pick out your clothes for you. Okay, well, bring me 5 tops. I'll pick one out. No. No. You are paying $400 or $500 for this session. You go in there knowing exactly what you want. You know what you're going to wear. You have samples of those photos and you show them. This is what I'm trying to do. Can you do this? Yes or no? No? Bye-bye. Well, I think you should do this instead. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, this is what I'm coming here to get. Either you can work with me to get this together, or I'm going somewhere else. Also, another important thing to know, if they say, well, yeah, we can do that. If they say, I want to try this too. Okay, try that too. You can try a little bit of what they want to try, but not in exchange for this. They need to do what you are asking them, and you can try it their way also. Leave with both. Leave with both. I will also tell you, when you're shooting your headshots, the person needs to give you all of the images back. All of the images, not just one or two that they've retouched. You need all the images back. And if that photographer won't do it, then go to a different state if you need to get all of the images. Now, in some small, my nose is tickly. My nose is tickly. In some small states, you only have portrait photographers, right? And portrait photographers like Olin Mills or Sears or whatever they are. Sorry, but my nose. Anywho, they don't know anything about actor headshots. They don't know anything about it. So they look like DMV photos or portrait photos or something you put in the yearbook, and we don't want those. We don't want those. So what you should do is go to the photographers' pages of pictures you really, really like. And you should have like a little binder when you go to your headshot session, like a little folder. Print things out. Have websites that you can show the photographer. Show them what you're looking for. Tell them what you're trying to get after. And ask if they can help you accomplish those looks. That's what you want to work with. And then you want all the photos back, because this is very important, guys. If you haven't thought, everything else I'm saying is important. And hopefully you've been paying attention and taking notes. You can always watch this replay. Here's another thing that's really important. When you are going through the breakdowns and you're reading it, and it says, let's say I'm reading, it's a teacher, she's firm, yet kind, but she doesn't take shit. That's me. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I have a headshot that looks like that. I'm going to go back into my session. I'm going to go through and find a photo that has that essence in the description, and I'm going to upload that photo to Actors Access or Casting Networks, and I'm going to submit myself with that specific photo because I have one in the session, because I had so many different emotions. I've got it. Then there's a wife, her mother just got divorced. She's devastated, just lost her husband. Oh, I got to go back in there. I got to look for the photo in there where I had an emotion where I was sad. Okay, there's kind of sad energy, like when I was thinking about my dad and go in there emotionally. I'll grab this photo. Great. Put it on Actors Access, upload it, submit it with that particular job. You save your session, your headshot session, on your desktop. And when you read a breakdown, you don't have to put 30 photos up at once. That's not how we do it. You should put four photos up, 4 completely different photos from each other. Not the same expression with just a little head tilt. 4 completely different photos, 4 different emotions, completely different stories. Each photo tells a completely different character that you can play, right? But when you're reading the breakdowns, if you see an energy, you're like, I have that energy in my headshots. And pull it out, upload it. Pull it out, upload it. Then eventually you have 8 or 9 or 10 photos, because that's what you've been doing. Okay? So hopefully this is helpful. And when you do the next headshot critique at the end of next month, or what is it, November now? The end of November. When we ask you to post 2 contrasting photos, they should not be the same look, only with a different smile, in the same outfit. They should say something completely different with the eyes, and completely different from each other. We should think those are 2 completely different stories you're telling. And that's when you have great headshots. If we look at your photos and we see the same story, we're going to say, nope, these photos are the same thing. When we say that and you're new, you're probably going to go, no, they're not. They're different. I was smiling like this in one, and then I was smiling like this in the other. See, it's the same. They're not the same. It's this and this. See? That's the same. Also, we don't want to see any photos over the shoulder. Okay, you're not selling the back of your arm. Face the camera. Face the camera square on. Let's get some strong headshots first before you get experimental. Okay? Now, I know Alex Collins posted some amazing, that man is handsome as hell, isn't he? Good grief. Handsome and smart. He posted some headshots of him that are a little different than his other headshots, because he's been doing this such a long time. He knows that he wants to add additional characters to his headshots. So he wants a guy who looks like he's been through it all and he has nothing left to lose, right? So that's the kind of thoughts you're having when he gets that look. And then he wants another one where he's happy dad, he's well adjusted, and he loves his wife. He loves his wife, he loves his kids, and he just loves his life. And he's thinking those thoughts, and now he has that look. He wanted to add those specific elements and essences to his already lovely collection of headshots. So as time goes on, when you start thinking, oh, I could play this role, if you think, well, do I need to get all of these headshots in one session? You don't. Maybe you do a session and you get these 3 or 4 kinds of looks. Then you go in another session, somebody has a special for $275. You go in there and you go get a couple different kinds of looks. And you're collecting these amazing stories. Headshots are little stories, okay? And what is the last thing I want to say about that? Anything? That's it. Okay, so I'm going to head out because I was going to go at 6, and here I am at 6:27 because I just freaking can't stop helping. I'd like to stop helping now because I'm going to go binge watch The Resident. Yes. Plus also, Alex Collins is in Beauty in Black, a new Tyler Perry show, which I want to go watch. In fact, Rebecca Kennedy's is recurring on shit. I just posted it this week. We have 6 or 7 of our moderators are literally working on television this week. I want to go watch all those episodes. I have so many clients at HWC that have booked and have episodes out, and so I have to go back in and find the episodes and watch their work. So that's what I want to go spend my time doing. I'm going to go take all my clothes off, bra's coming off, jammies on, get my popcorn, my sunflower seeds, and my matcha tea, put on my cuddly socks, and go cuddle up, put all my candles on, and sit with my dog and my cat. And turn this whole computer off. But tomorrow I'll be back at 11 a.m. for a free class for 3 hours. We're going to talk about everything. And I highly recommend, if you're new to this group, come spend 3 hours with me. Or if you've been watching for years and you've never taken the 3-hour class, I highly, highly recommend you take it. And if you want to sign up to do the 4-week Faceless YouTube channel class, be sure to click the link. I'm going to put it in there. I'm glad I just said it again, or I would have forgotten. Put the link in there and come join me. We're going to have a blast. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Oh, and the last thing I'll say is get out there and vote. Whoever you're voting for, go vote. Your vote matters. All right. See you later.